an ugly-ass-faced martial artist, strong enough that even the clan leader couldn't beat him, grabs a kid by the throat. 3 centipedes, hatched maybe a day earlier, come out of his jacket and end the fight in seconds. It all began on a nasty, stormy night, and a group of 8 men in matching robes is trudging through the rain toward a half-collapsed old temple. Their leader knocks and apologizes for the intrusion, and standing right there at the gate, calm as anything, is a kid who can't be older than 14. The leader, Elder Kiel-san, sizes him up and figures this must be some junior Taoist minding the place. So he bows properly, introduces himself, and asks for shelter until the rain lets up. All 8 of them show him nothing but respect, which is honestly kind of funny, because Soryong is standing there thinking, you'll really believe some random teenager is guarding this abandoned temple by himself? Still, no bad vibes coming off any of them, so he tells them they're welcome to camp anywhere except the one building he actually lives in, and points it out. Kiel-san thanks him, calls him a courteous junior, and orders his men to steer clear of that building specifically. Good group. Soryong clocks that they're all wearing the same Tang uniform, files that away, and heads back to his room, because he's got more pressing business tonight. Feeding time. He cracks open a jar packed wall-to-wall with grasshoppers and flips the lid on the next jar over, and inside is an absolute unit of a tarantula. A black earth tiger, native to Hainan, capable of growing up to 20 centimeters, with a yellow-striped body like a mini tiger. He calls him Tiger, tosses a grasshopper in. Tiger pounces without hesitation. He remembers when Tiger was the size of a fingernail. 2 molts later, she's basically furniture. In his old life, he never had the money or the space to keep pets like this. Now he's got an entire menagerie, and nobody's stopping him. He pops open a smaller box, a bewangling cave gecko, another Hainan native, easy to ID by the stripes running down the body and tail, and reaches in with a grasshopper. That's when it bites him. And just like that, the memories come flooding back. The life before this one. Before he was a scrawny kid in a temple. Back when he was a streamer, Spicy Fabre, 1 million subscribers, the guy who built his whole channel around venomous creatures. The milestone stream. The 10 most venomous snakes on Earth special. The trip to Africa to hunt down a black mamba. He remembers the fear. The long, fruitless day of searching, giving up as the sun went down. The viewers in his live chat were asking, what if you actually got bitten, bro? What's Africa's emergency number? Pure jokes, no idea what was coming. He never found the mamba that day. The mamba found him, curled up on top of the refrigerator the entire time, and the second his hand landed there, it struck. In his live chat, viewers asked, did you seriously get bitten? He never answered. He was already dead. A knock at the door yanks him back to the present. It's Kiel-san, thanking him again for the shelter and inviting him to dinner. They bagged a deer. Soryong's still shaken, but free venison wins every time, so he says yes. At the fire pit, the group's roasting the whole thing, and the smell alone is doing violence to his stomach. Kiel-san tells him the meat needs more time and asks if he can ask a few questions while they wait. Soryong nods. How old are you? He thinks maybe 14 or 15. Kiel-san frowns. You don't know your own age? Soryong plays it smooth. Hit his head as a kid, lost his early memories. Standard cover story works every time. Kiel-san sighs, says it must have been rough surviving alone out here. Soryong shrugs it off. He gets by catching snakes and selling the skins. That gets a round of, this kid's braver than half my men, he think. And then one of the older men hands him the first slab of meat off the fire. Soryong digs in like a man who hasn't eaten a real meal in a while, because he hasn't. Between bites, Kiel-san gets to the actual point. They're hunting something unusual, and want to know if he's seen anything strange in these mountains. Strange how? The older man beside him steps in and figures, since the kid's putting them up for the night, they might as well level with him. They're after a centipede, covered in blue spots. Soryong's eyes go wide, doing the math on how big a centipede has to be for grown martial artists to organize a hunting party over it. Kiel-san confirms, yeah, the blue one, and says he'd know it on sight if he ever saw it, because fully grown, it's big enough to swallow a person whole. That lands like a gut punch. The older man notices the fear and tries to walk it back. Don't worry, we're here to hunt that creature. Soryong then asks innocently, "Are you planning to raise it as a pet?" Both the old man and the man laugh. "You have a great sense of humor, young man." The old man then said it's for medicine. His granddaughter is dying, and the only thing that might save her is the centipede's inner core. And just like that, this stops being a business trip in Soryong's head and becomes a family desperately clinging to their last shot at saving a kid. Moved and honestly grateful for the free deer, he decides to help. Keel-san saves his daughter, even though he felt sorry for that poor centipede. I might know where to find it. Here's the thing nobody in this cave-dwelling, sword-swinging world understands yet. Spicy Fabre might be dead, but Spicy Fabre's knowledge absolutely is not. When it comes to poisonous or venomous creatures, this guy isn't playing the same game as everyone else. He's not even on the same server. He goes digging through his shelves of knowledge before he finally finds the book titled The Encyclopedia of Centipedes, then turns back to the group and asks, very specifically, where exactly they've already searched and when. North side, east side, mostly daylight, focused hard on the riverbanks up north, the younger one explains. And immediately Soryong knows why they've come up empty for however many days straight. You've been looking in the wrong place this whole time. The old man, intrigued, asks him to explain. So he does. Centipedes are myriapods, cold-blooded, territorial, dependent on stable shelter for temperature and humidity. Unlike most insects, they've got garbage waterproofing. Their shells are basically Swiss cheese for moisture, which means counterintuitively, they actually hate soaking wet environments even though they need humidity to survive. Translation: a giant blue centipede is not chilling by the river. It's definitely not living in the jungle undergrowth either. The old man floats the idea of a rotting tree hollow. Plausible for smaller centipedes, Soryong says, but nothing that size is squeezing into a tree crevice. He asks if they've spotted any big fallen logs or boulders near the water. Nothing that offers real cover, they admit. Then Keel-sen cuts to the chase. Where should they be looking? And if the kid's right, there's a fat reward waiting for him. Soryong points west, the Rocky Mountains. If he were a centipede, he'd sun himself below the rocks all day and only come out to hunt once the sun's down. At dawn, the whole party heads west. Even Keel-san ends up climbing a rock to scan the valley himself. Fully invested now. Hours pass. One of the men eventually asks Keel-san if the junior's guess might just be wrong. Keel-san stays quiet for a beat, then calls it. Pack it in for the day, fire the signal arrow. That night around the fire, the grumbling starts. Brutal search, nothing to show for it. Does the kid actually know what he's talking about? Someone mutters that the little Taoist seemed pretty sharp, though. Keel-san stays silent through all of it, until finally he says something that shuts the whole conversation down. That maybe his daughter Waun, one of the Tang clan's greatest prodigies, has simply been abandoned by heaven. That's when word comes that the High Lord has arrived. Keel-san looks over and sees Grandfather Tang standing there, flanked by guards. Grandfather Tang asks if the centipedes turned up. No luck. Same story on their end. He admits Waun likely has 3 months left, if that, and he's not sure they'll find this thing in the next 10 days. Keel-san suggests the southern area next, since everything else has struck out. His father agrees. Then Grandfather Tang suddenly starts chuckling and asks his son if he's noticed something. Because here's the thing. 3 days combing this mountain, and there's been 0 wildlife evidence. No droppings, no burrows, nothing. Father and son land on the same conclusion at the exact same moment. An entire mountain with no trace of any animal isn't a coincidence. It means every living thing here has either fled or been eaten. And a territorial predator that thorough? That's basically a signed confession. The blue centipede is here, somewhere. That's when the ground below them starts shaking. The ground splits, and erupting out of the earth is the centipede itself. Colossal blue, coiling up out of the dirt like something out of a nightmare, easily big enough to swallow a grown man in one bite. Back at the temple, Soryong's lying in bed, marveling at how absolutely unhinged this whole situation is. He specifically told them to be careful, and instead they went and flipped the entire mountain upside down. A centipede that could eat a person. There's a weird, morbid curiosity building in him about that centipede. Deep in the forest, they finally bring it down, though a lot of the men get seriously banged up doing it. They carve out the inner core and seal it away. Grandfather Tang, near tears, says they can finally save Waun. Keel-san, ever the strategist, suggests he and the healthy fighters push ahead to Sichuan while the injured recover here. Keel-san reminds Grandfather Tang of their clan motto, that resentment might run through blood, but gratitude is carved in stone. And they've still got unfinished business in these mountains. The old man catches himself, realizing he almost blew right past the kid who solved this whole thing for them. He agrees. They'll properly host their young guest and grant whatever he asks. Keel-san backs him up immediately. Meanwhile, back at the temple, Soryong's got a whole different problem developing. A cluster of eggs he snatched from the centipede's lair, 3 of them, after barely escaping a bug the size of a human fist, has hatched overnight, way faster than he expected. And now there are tiny blue centipedes crawling across his head and shoulders like he's their actual mother, showing zero signs of ever letting go. He spoke to them as if they understood him, which, considering what would happen over the next few hundred chapters, might not be entirely wrong. Since they still wouldn't let go, he said he was going to go take a shower. Morning rolls around, and Keel-san heads over to check on Soryong. Knox calls him young man, gets no answer and lets himself in. First thing he notices, shelves absolutely stacked with herbs, jars, medicinal formulas. Old man's wondering if this kid is secretly some kind of medicine prodigy. He reaches for a drawer out of curiosity, catches himself being rude, and decides to bail instead. That's when he hears it, a noise from inside a jar. He opens it up and comes face to face with a massive black spider. Next to it, a lizard. Then more jars, snakes, more bugs, an entire menagerie. And here's the part that should be blowing his mind harder than it is. Even the Tang clan, the undisputed legends of poison in the entire martial world, have never managed to mass-produce toxins by literally hatching and raising the source animals. This kid's just been doing it for fun in a temple in the middle of nowhere. Saving Waun's life suddenly feels like the smaller miracle. The real prize just walked into their lives. He steps outside, finds Soryong, and Soryong immediately clocks something's wrong with his arm. Keel-san waves it off. Not serious. There's something more important to talk about. Before either of them can get a word out, Keel-san senses a dangerous aura from the front door. A hideous, berserk soldier stormed in. Keel-san told the kid to hide and threw himself at the intruder. He managed to block the initial attack, but he was blasted back by a Kamehameha instantly and hurt badly. This guy hit like he was no match for Keel-san at all. He was screaming for the young man to run when the intruder grabbed the young man by the throat and lifted him clean off the ground. The intruder sneered. "I heard the Tang clan is in Hainan. Came to check it out," he said. Instead, he found the injured son of the Lord of 10,000 Poisons. How lucky he was. When Keel-san asked who the intruder was and why he was attacking both Keel-san and the young man, the intruder laughed. Then, he asked if Keel-san did not recognize his ugly face and his red fist. Blood-fisted fiend, Anyang Tak. The same one Grandfather Tang supposedly took out years ago. Recognition clicks for Keel-san. Tak was rumored to have died after being struck by a poison dart and falling off a coastal cliff, but he had somehow managed to survive. Keel-san begs for his own life to be taken instead of the young man, who has nothing to do with this. Tak just laughs, vows to wipe out anyone connected to the Tang family, and tightens his grip until the young man, Soryong, desperately screams for help. That's the cue. 3 baby centipedes explode out of his jacket and go straight for Tak's throat and hand, biting with a ferocity that makes him drop the kid instantly. Soryong watches 3 creatures the size of his palm absolutely dismantle a monster who was rumored dead after surviving 1 poison dart. Tak roars and mocks them for being tiny, but he doesn't realize he's been poisoned, and within seconds, he's on the floor, finished. Keel-san just sits there, completely rewiring his understanding of what he just witnessed. The kid's centipedes just killed the monster. He shakes it off fast and declares, the young man isn't just a guest anymore. He needs to be part of the family. A few days later, Elder Keel-san takes a turn for the worse. Soryong sticks around to nurse him, offering to deliver the news to the Tang clan if the elder tells him where to find them. However, Soryong quickly realizes he cannot leave Keel-san alone. The elder insists he'll be fine in a couple of days. But Soryong doesn't buy it for a second and calls the old man out for downplaying his wounds. Eventually, Keel-san cracks, admits he's actually a martial artist. Soryong asks if that means the wall-jumping, palm-blasting kind of wuxia master. Keel-san laughs and says not everyone's that flashy. But yeah, close enough. Soryong just sits with the fact that this world casually has house-sized centipedes wandering the woods, so honestly, sure, why not? Formal introductions finally take place. Soryong learns this is Keel-san Tang, the leader of the Tang clan. When Soryong introduces himself in return, Keel-san, mid-recovery, still half dead, but absolutely unbothered, immediately demands answers. Are those really the babies of venomous centipedes? Did you actually tame them? Practically vibrating with excitement, the elder demands the full story. Soryong confirms that yes, they are baby blue-spotted centipedes. He goes on to explain everything from the eggs to the hatching process and everything. Keel-san is shocked to learn that Soryong successfully hatched the eggs and is raising them. When Soryong mentions he can roughly predict their hatching times, he walks over to a drawer and pulls out 2 lizards to demonstrate. One is a normal joint lizard with yellow stripes down its body and white coloring near the tail. The other is a color variant Soryong engineered himself by selectively breeding for thicker white tail stripes. Keel-san just created a new theory of the world in real time. This kid isn't taming animals. He's designing them. The old man's brain immediately jumps to the endgame. What if you bred only the deadliest ones together? Soryong confirms theoretically possible, as long as he knows which specimens carry the strongest venom. Massive project, sure, but doable. That's when Keel-san makes the offer. Join the Tang family. Full martial arts training, no secrets held back. Access to every herb, elixir, and poison the clan has. With his talent, capturing or raising the legendary top 10 venomous creatures of the Central Plains isn't out of reach. And, as a bonus, he clearly thinks it is the real closer. One of the 3 great beauties of the Central Plains happens to be his daughter, Waon. Soryong nearly chokes on that last part, but the top 10 venomous creatures is what actually hooks him. Are they as terrifying as the blue centipede? Keel-san says the centipede's honestly lower tier by comparison. House-sized scorpions, golden frogs that glitter like treasure. Whatever he's imagining, reality's more extreme, and that's it. Soryong is excited, but he needs to think before that. 2 days later, several Tang clan members finally return to the temple. They are shocked to learn that their leader was attacked by Unyang Tak. As Keel-san recounts the incident, he notes that Unyang Tak was almost as powerful as his own father. Hearing this, one of the members remarks that Keel-san must be able to command 10,000 poisons since he defeated such a monster. Keel-san quickly corrects them. It wasn't him. It was Soryong. The soldiers lose it, calling him a hero, some kind of reincarnated legend, which he kinda is. They're asking if it's true. Keel-san has him show the centipedes directly. 3 tiny babies crawl up onto his shoulders, and the entire member flinches in unison, whispering about venom potency and whether those are actually what took down Tak. Keel-san tells them he plans to formally bring Soryong into the family. Soryong hedges, still thinking it over, but one soldier practically begs him not to pass this up. Before moving on, Keel-san lays out the real assignment. Tak practiced something called the blood poison clause, a twisted, evil technique requiring human blood and bone marrow to master. If Tak left behind disciples or even civilians he locked up, they need to be found and dealt with. He asks if Soryong, with his familiarity with Hainan's geography, can help. Soryong thinks it over. Joining a family like this is basically a lifetime contract. This is a good chance to get an internship first, feel out what the boss is actually like. He tells Keel-san he understands, and he'll help as soon as he's back on his feet. Internally, though, he's not just agreeing to a favor. He's running his own reverse interview. Anyone competent knows to vet the company before signing the offer letter. 3 days later, after Keel-san recovered, they are still combing villages near the abandoned Taoist temples, chasing any lead on Tak's hideout. Every stop plays out the same way. The local elder shrugs, says 1 or 2 people vanish in the jungle every year. Nothing unusual, no mass disappearances, nothing to see here. Village after village, dead end after dead end. Walking away from the latest one, Soryong grumbles that this place was just as useless as the last. Keel-san admits he figured Tak's hideout would be around here somewhere, since he found and attacked them. But why is it so hard to find traces of him? Then Soryong searched his mind for clues. He remembered something that had been bothering him. Tak's exact words during the fight. He asked Keel-san if he remembered what Tak had said. Keel-san's memory was a bit hazy because he had been at death's door, so Soryong reminded him. Tak said he heard the Tang clan had landed in Hainan. That meant someone had given him information. This meant someone on the island had been watching the clan and feeding Tak information. Keel-san grimly agreed. Therefore, they needed to retrace every place they had visited since arriving. Soryong suggested creating a facial composite sketch of Unyang Tak's face, hoping it would yield useful information soon. It was a brilliant idea, and one that Keel-san hadn't thought of before. With the decision made, they prepared to leave immediately. After a while, one of the members reported a nearby village that matched the information they had heard at the Hainan port. They assumed this wouldn't be a problem and arrived expecting the friendly welcome Soryong had described. Instead, they found something strange. The village was crowded with Han people, unsuitable for a woman's tribal territory. The atmosphere was tense. The villagers looked weak, sickly, and half-conscious, almost zombie-like. Even the children looked exhausted. Keel-san introduced himself as the leader of the Tang clan from Sichuan, explaining that they were investigating a missing person. Before he could finish, an angry old man snapped at them to leave, claiming their village was safe and that he knew nothing about any missing person. Keel-san points out the obvious math problem. Way too few people for this many houses. The old man snaps that it's none of their business. Then, a little girl named Meijin collapsed. The old man panicked. He cried out that she was the only family he had left, and he couldn't lose her to the plague as well. Keel-san, sharp even mid-crisis, offers up his medical knowledge. The village elder, desperate, finally opens up. He explains a mysterious illness has been sweeping through the village. Children dying. Even the healthiest are wasting away. They hurried to bring Meijin into the house. Soryong asked a clan member if Keel-san also practiced medicine. It turned out that the Sichuan Tang martial arts were entirely centered on poison, meaning antidotes and medical techniques were fundamental knowledge. Training always began with understanding the human body. Soryong noted this with interest. He had always assumed the Tang clan were just assassins throwing poison, but it turned out they had a complete medical curriculum behind their skills. Useful, he thought. Apparently, the clan even tested these poisons on bad people to observe exactly how they reacted. Upon arriving at the house, Keel-san successfully injected energy into Meijin's body to ensure she could breathe properly. The old man thanked him profusely for saving her. However, Keel-san quickly noticed that Meijin's heartbeat was still highly irregular. The old man explained that Meijin had been showing symptoms of this illness for the past 6 months, and that many other villagers had fallen ill at the exact same time. He's been calling it the strange illness, which is exactly why he told them to leave earlier. Keel-san then told the old man to gather the villagers. He would prepare a panacea to strengthen their hearts. The old man could only thank him, not knowing how he could repay his kindness. That night, while walking along the dimly lit village streets, one of the clan members, Pai, remarks that the villagers are feeling better thanks to the leader working so hard all day treating patients. Pai asks about the exact symptoms. Keel-san rattles off a precise list. Fatigue, puffy eyes, a weak pulse, and a slight fever, noting that the worst cases all involve the heart. He decides to stop by and check on Soryong, since he is nearby and, according to Pai, is utterly exhausted from helping out all day despite having no martial arts training whatsoever. He walks in, finds him asleep, and then, without warning, slaps him across the face hard enough to send his whole world spinning. Soryong sits up, rubbing his cheek, genuinely stinging, asking what that was for. Keel-san apologizes instantly. There was a bug crawling on his face. He panicked, tried to snatch it off. He holds up the still wriggling insect, notes just how massive it is, and comments that Hainan's crawling with poisonous life he's never even encountered before. Soryong shakes off the sting and asks about the patients. All different symptoms but one shared thread. Arrhythmia. Keel-san confirms it. And that's when it clicks. This bug is the disease. He calls it a kissing bug, an assassin bug that feeds on human blood near the eyes or mouth while people sleep, stealthy enough to make mosquitoes look like amateurs. The bite itself isn't venomous. The problem is what's living in its gut. Parasites that get left behind with every feeding. It causes trypanosomiasis, Chagas disease, one of the deadliest zoonotic illnesses on the planet. He lays all of this out for Keel-san and the village elder, then asks if any of the local dogs have shown similar breathing trouble. The village elder, panicking, asks, "Is that bug really to blame?" When Soryong confirms it, the elder breaks down, pleading, "Is it possible to cure my granddaughter?" "Not unless we can find a cure for the parasite itself," Soryong answered grimly. Keel-san talks with Pai, who admits with a hint of awe that he finally sees the value in this junior with phenomenal talent. Then, Keel-san imparts some dark lore. "We of the Sichuan Tang clan specialize in goo," he explains. It is an ancient poison sorcery often called leech poisoning, where practitioners introduce internal parasites into humans to inflict agony or bend them to their will. He warns that the art is truly terrifying. Martial artists have lost everything to it. Some have killed their own families under its influence, while others have become nothing more than helpless puppets for their enemies. Generations of martial artists have failed to develop a cure. Where would that cure finally come from? The Sichuan Tang family, obviously. They possess a poison-melting essence potent enough to dissolve a fist-sized goo. So an invisible parasite should be nothing. Keel-san told the village elder no need to worry. His granddaughter will be cured soon. Starting with the chief's granddaughter, the villagers begin to recover. The old man breaks down in tears watching his granddaughter become healthy again. And Keel-san, watching how it all played out, gives Soryong full credit in front of everyone. Every villager bows their thanks. Soryong is deeply touched. Even though he knows the medicine technically came from the Tang clan, Keel-san still chose to give him all the glory. Later, the old chief approaches Keel-san with a lead he's been sitting on, wants to repay the favor. There's a woman in the village who married in from elsewhere, and back in her hometown, people started disappearing years ago. Small village west of here. And then when they arrive, the stench hits before they even see anything. Corpses scattered across the ground. Corpse poison spreading unchecked. Then they spot a massive bird tearing into a snake carcass. One of the men, disgusted, hurls a rock at it. Keel-san couldn't stop him. That's when they notice the skulls of the dead have melted into sludge. Keel-san, grave, tells the team what they're looking at. The poison bird, Jinyao. Keel-san told everyone to get away from there, while covering Soryong's mouth. Then they rest at a safer area while Keel-san began explaining that the bird has a wingspan of a full 5 chi. Bronze beak, deep purple feathers. Whenever it flares up angry, the ground itself decays into a dead, poisoned wasteland. Even the dirt turns toxic. And on top of its head, a golden crown, radiating the aura of a true ruler. Soryong, processing this, blurts out, "Is that one of the legendary 10 deadly poisons?" Keel-san nods his head. "It's one of them, and it's the absolute peak. The undisputed king of every venomous being alive. Compared to it, every snake and poisonous creature on Earth is a rounding error. A living biohazard. Soryong is already locked in with that bird." Keel-san explains the bird likely showed up because of the venomous snake population boom in the area. Legend says it only eats the heads of the deadliest snakes it can find. Soryong asks if sightings like this are common. "No, it's once in a lifetime, maybe once a century," Keel-san says. Soryong, predictably, wonders out loud if it could ever be caught. Keel-san asks if he's seriously considering it. Dangerously, terrifyingly seriously, Soryong admits he is. Keel-san, recognizing exactly the kind of obsession he's dealing with, admits there might be a way. Anyone who fully masters the Tang clan's poison techniques gains immunity to 10,000 poisons. Even the poison bird's toxin wouldn't touch them. But those techniques never leave the clan. Even if Keel-san wanted to teach an outsider, the rules wouldn't let him. What if I join the clan? Keel-san tells him, decide fast and he'll teach him generously, gifts included. Wait too long and the offer might not stand. With basically nothing left to lose, Soryong makes the call. He's in. Keel-san formally accepts him. As of that moment, he belongs to the Tang clan for good. He got baited so hard. Later, one of the men hands over a manual book recovered from the hideout of Unyang Tak Cave. Keel-san flips through it and confirms it, the secret blood poison manual. With that secured, it's time to head home. Soryong asks if he can stop by the temple first to release his friends, which, translated, means his entire bug collection. Keel-san agrees, tells him to pack. On the way out, Soryong spots something in front of the cave and calls his new master over. Poison bird feather. Keel-san carefully gloves up, bags it, and hands it over as a welcome gift for joining the clan. Noting that this kid was clearly a little too interested in that bird for it to be a coincidence, Soryong thanks him. Keel-san says he's pleased, but the way Soryong still addresses him feels off. Hints that'll change after the ceremony. And that's when it hits Soryong. There's about to be an actual ceremony marking his entry into the clan. He thought innocently, he's not just a stray anymore, he's family. Back in Sichuan, Grandfather Tang finally makes it home after weeks away, exhausted and clearly unwell himself. First thing out of his mouth, "How's Waun?" His servants tell him she's still hanging on. He doesn't even stop to rest, heads straight for her room, hands the centipede's inner core over to her mother, and watches the woman break down in relief on the spot. He places the core in Waun's mouth himself. A green aura emits from her body, and he checks her pulse. Everyone waits. Her mother prays beside her, "Please wake up." Meanwhile, the rest of the party is still making the long haul home. Soryong, riding on one of the men's backs, is marveling at just how massive the Central Plains actually is. Boat from Hainan to Chinju, then overland through Nanning, nearly 2 months on the road before they finally reach Sichuan. As they approach the Tang estate, Pai points out the mountain the clan calls home, dominating the whole skyline. The gates open, and a crowd pours out to greet them. Enough people that Soryong's genuinely nervous, wondering if every single one of them is a clan member. And then, cutting through all of it, a girl in a red royal dress comes sprinting toward Keel-san, tears streaming down her face, screaming for her father. Soryong just stands there, stunned, because he had never seen a beautiful girl like her before. Even in his previous life, nothing can compare. Keel-san gently pulls her over to introduce her daughter as Tang Waun. She is the kid he's been calling some shrubs or some plant, precisely. They just stare at each other for a beat, and the pieces click into place in Soryong's head. This is the girl. The one the 3 most beautiful flowers and the "my daughter" comment back in Hainan were both pointing at. The lone daughter of the Sichuan Tang clan, known across the entire martial world as the poisonous flower Tang Waun. Flashback before she got sick. Her life hasn't exactly been easy either, even before the illness. As a kid, she overheard 2 clan elders gossiping. One suggesting she just get married off to some decent man, the other scoffing, asking the clan leader why not get a second wife to have a son with, confused about why he was even against it. That's the moment it landed for her. The elders didn't see her as worth much, purely because she wasn't born a son. So she decided to prove them wrong the hard way. Master every martial art the clan had to offer. Bring honor to the family name whether they liked it or not. But rushing cultivation invites disaster every time, and her impatience was her downfall. A full-blown energy deviation that wrecked her training and left her gravely ill. After that incident, she then successfully absorbed the centipede's core. Her mother told her, gently, that she was just glad her daughter was still alive. Waun broke down, apologizing, feeling like her entire dream of being useful to the clan had crumbled along with her cultivation. Her grandfather looked at her tears and asked if she understood what she'd actually accomplished. Because somehow, despite the setback, maybe because of it, she'd gained immunity to 100 poisons. The one she'd always dreamed of. He told her to stop crying and start celebrating. She glanced up at her left hand and saw it. a mystical spirit mark emitting green aura she'd never had before. When she asked about it, the old man told her the truth. A certain young man hadn't just saved her life. He'd helped her gain immunity to 100 and possibly to 1,000 poisons. Back in the present, Waun's standing face to face with the young man who did all that, her father watching the whole thing play out. Soryong, mortified, is realizing in real time that he might have just insulted the clan master's daughter, who's one of the 3 most beautiful flowers, by calling her a some plant, while too fascinated by the 10 legendary venomous creatures back at the temple. He recovers fast, greets her formally as young lady, introduces himself properly, says he'd heard she was unwell and is glad to see her healthy. She thanks him, genuinely, sincerely, and promises she'll never forget what he did for her. While stunned, her father, naturally, can't resist the opening. Using telepathy, turns to Soryong and asks what he thinks of his daughter. Does she still just seem like some plant in your eyes? Isn't she quite beautiful for some plant? Don't you want a laurel wreath over your head? But Soryong blushed and couldn't say anything. Later, soaking in the estate's royal bath, Soryong's got 3 baby centipedes crawling around a basket nearby. He warns them hot water's bad for them, then, apparently understanding him just fine, they climb into the basket. He remembers Keel-san mentioning they react to killing intent, and Soryong makes a mental note to ask what cryptic creatures like these actually are. He tells them it's rude to stare at someone naked. They instantly hide in the basket. Not that the bath does much to calm him down. Keel-san's "a laurel wreath over his head" comment is still rattling around his skull. Eventually he just gives up and climbs out. Meanwhile, Keel-san announces the family's giving Soryong the East House. Grandfather Tang, catching wind of it, asks his son point-blank if the kid's really that talented. Keel-san doesn't hesitate, says everyone assumed luck had been on their side this whole trip, but the real blessing was Soryong himself. His knowledge of poisons is unparalleled. He didn't just kill Tak. He ran across a legendary cryptic creature, the poison bird Jinyao, and single-handedly hatched a blue centipede's eggs. Grandfather Tang laughs, realizing they nearly walked right past the actual treasure without noticing. Keel-san agrees completely, then turns to Waun and asks, flat out, if she'd consider taking Soryong as her husband. She freezes, looks at her father, starts to say if he must be, and trails off, because underneath that hesitation is everything she just fought for. She reached the celestial poison realm. She's still not done proving she can bring greater honor to the clan than anyone expected. So she tells her father, respectfully but firmly, that she understands his intentions as a Tang daughter, but she needs to find out for herself whether this boy is actually worth it. And with that, she leaves the table. She sprinted, looking for Soryong, seeing their daughter's reaction. Her parent looked concerned, but her father could only mutter in his mind, "Be careful, young man. The laurel wreath is beautiful but also has sharp thorns all over." Soryong's sitting alone afterward, spiraling a little. Worried he's already gotten off on the wrong foot with the daughter of one of the most powerful clans in the martial world. Wondering what her father's going to make of any of this. Then suddenly, Waun bursts, calling his name. He was surprised. Their eyes meet. She apologizes, says she needs a quick word, that she's in a hurry, and asks if he'd give her his hand for a second. Soryong hesitates, says maybe they should get to know each other first. There's usually some kind of procedure for this stuff. She looks at him, genuinely confused, until it clicks what he thinks is happening. She's blushing, but actually, she just wants to check his pulse. Given how out of nowhere the request came, she gets why he read it wrong. Soryong admits, mortified, that yeah, he was completely clueless. She apologizes for barging in without warning, reminds him gently that he's still young, but says he seems sharp enough that she'll let him in on what's actually going on. And the story she tells sounds ripped straight out of a palace drama. As the direct heir of the clan, she's a permanent target for scheming side branches. The family's plan to lock that down is to find her a strong husband. Soryong realizes, somewhat uncomfortably, that Keel-san even thought about his position within the clan the moment he officially joined the family. She apologizes again, says there's something she needs to confirm, and promises, even if things don't go his way, she'll always treat him well. He saved her life. He'll always be honored as the clan's benefactor at a minimum. Maybe, she muses, he should just be treated like a sworn sibling instead. Reassured, Soryong holds out his hand and tells her to go ahead. She rests her fingers on his wrist and explains as she works. Tang martial arts aren't for just anyone. Some people can train in poison arts by absorbing toxins directly. Others can't handle it at all. Mastering the family's poison techniques means literally absorbing venom as your inner energy grows. Still holding his wrist, she notes with genuine surprise that he's lucky. His body can handle poison arts. However, it looks like he tops out at 10 different types, which, for an outsider, is genuinely impressive. A 10-poison body, on par with first-class fighters. About as far as anyone without extraordinary natural talent could ever climb. She thanks him for the time, stands, and excuses herself. Soryong stands there stunned, turning it over. A 10-poison body, which might mean he can never even get close to the legendary Jinyao. And that stings way more than he expected, given how much this whole world's turned into his new obsession. That evening, Hwaun had just finished bathing, quietly bothered by something. Ever since she swallowed the blue centipede's inner core, her body has carried a strange smell. No amount of scrubbing gets rid of it. She wonders, half joking to herself, if it's karma for the sharp words she threw at the man who saved her life. Meanwhile, Soryong's dreaming. Hwaun appears before him in the dream, kneeling, thanking him for his kindness. She tells him this is a dream, but also not quite a dream. She's taken the girl's form so he doesn't panic. Because the truth is, she's the mother of the blue centipede babies. She's been with him this whole time. He notices 3 tiny toddler-shaped girls standing nearby, all female. He didn't know they were all female. He asks how she's even able to appear here. She explains. After she was killed, her resentment anchored her soul to the inner core. That's how she ended up haunting the girl who consumed it, cursing her from the inside. But now, seeing her children safe with him, she's finally found a way to let the grudge go. She thanks him, but in his heart he admits, even unintentionally, he was the one who exposed her location to the hunting party. She tells him if he really feels guilty about it, he can grant her one request. He promises he will, whatever it is, look after her children until they're fully grown. He runs through what he knows. Normal centipedes go independent after 2 molts, but she stops him. Her kind is different. Until her babies shed twice, they need to stay close to her core to draw energy from it. After that, they'll survive on the life force of other living things, which means the babies need to stay close to Hwaun, since she's the one who absorbed the core. The mother confirms it and drops the other half of the truth. The curse, the one making Hwaun's body reek, was meant to keep men away from her entirely, make it impossible for her to ever bear children. To lift it, the babies need to freely feed off the core's leftover energy inside her. And, the mother adds, almost wistfully, she wouldn't mind if Soryong won the girl's heart along the way. He protests, says he can't take advantage of someone in such a rough situation just because a ghost centipede is shipping them. She calls him a righteous man, asks what he plans to do about the whole mess. Because that girl wants someone strong as her spouse, it's not like she can find him, the essence of the 10 legendary venomous creatures or something. He says he's got an idea and asks her to trust him. I'm pretty sure it will go well. The next day, Hwaun comes to find him. He lays it all out, and she finally understands why her body smells off since she absorbed the core. He tells her, if she lets the babies attach to her every few days to feed, the smell will fade on its own. She hesitates, asks if that's really all he wants. He could have asked for a lot more, given the circumstances. He insists he's not going to take advantage of a person going through an unfortunate circumstance. She thanks him, but says she can't keep taking his kindness for nothing, and admits quietly that maybe there are things more valuable than talent or martial prowess. She will reconsider what her father said. Then Soryong drops the line that changes everything. If his body can only hold 10 poisons, maybe he should fill all 10 slots with the venom of the 10 deadly poisons themselves. She's stunned. He's telling her, in the most oblivious way possible, that he's willing to become the strongest man alive for her. For the first time in her life, a man has confessed that boldly, and she genuinely doesn't know what to say. She felt butterflies in her stomach. She stares at him and asks if he even understands what he just committed to. He admits, honestly, he doesn't, so she spells it out. This isn't just hard. It's brutal. A path that could eat 10, 20 years, maybe his whole life. He's only 15. In 3 years, he'll be old enough for marriage. If, in that time, he manages to take down even one of the 10 deadly poisons, that's enough to convince her. That's enough for a real shot at marriage. She doesn't wait for a reply, jumps to her feet, tosses a goodbye over her shoulder, and bolts. He calls after her. She stops, expecting more, and he reminds her about her ongoing treatment, a session before she goes. Nothing to worry about. His pets don't bite. He tells the babies to head to their mom instead of their dad, which pulls an awkward smile out of her as he scoops them up. Meanwhile, at the family dinner table, her parents are dissecting the day's events. Talented as the kid clearly is, Keel-san admits it wasn't enough to fully win Waun over. Her mother says he saw them together that morning. Waun's mother suggests she might have turned him down outright. Grandfather cuts in. He hates the idea of forcing her to marry someone she doesn't like. Better if real feelings grow on their own. Her mother floats an idea. Put Waun in charge of overseeing his training. More time together, faster bond. Keel-san likes it, and Grandfather Tang mentions bringing in the elder physician to strengthen Soryong's foundation. Though Keel-san warns it doesn't always take. Even Waun's own progress hasn't been guaranteed. That's when a knock interrupts, and Waun's voice calls from outside. She steps in, surprised to find the whole family gathered, and announces she's got something important to say. Everyone goes alert. She's decided to follow her father's suggestion. Confused, her father asks her to clarify. Her mother, suspicious, wonders if Soryong has somehow won her over already. Waun just smiles. Pressed for the why, she explains. Soryong swore he'd become the greatest man in the world for her sake. Waun clarifies for her father, because his body is only capable of taking 10 kinds of poison. He'd rather take the toxins of the 10 legendary venomous creatures, and she's willing to accept him in her heart. But the marriage only happens if he manages to bag even one of the 10 deadly poisons in 3 years from now. Grandfather and her father laugh. The kid's certainly ambitious. She asks her mother if he even understood what she was really saying when she gave him that condition. Waun's not sure. Her father jokes that maybe she should have made it 3 creatures instead. Her mother points out dryly that men usually miss signals like this completely. Waun considers spelling it out more clearly, but her mother tells her that if he doesn't realize he's already been accepted, he'll just work even harder trying to prove himself. Grandfather Tang settles it. For now, they'll treat Soryong as a son-in-law, officially. Between the effort he's already showing and the clan quietly rooting for him, he'll find his way into the family naturally. Meanwhile, in Soryong's dream, the blue centipede's mother congratulates him for successfully winning over the girl's heart. He just plays it casual. Maybe it's because of his persistent nature. Then she reveals that this might be the last time she will appear in his dream, as she no longer harbors any grudge and the essence is almost fully absorbed, so her soul will soon depart this realm. She asks if there is something she can do for the last time. Soryong thinks and says, can she show her body? She is surprised but understands he is a healthy man after all. She pulls her clothes down, but before she can continue, Soryong asks, why are you taking your clothes off? That is not what he wants. What he wanted to see was her real body. Then she returned to her centipede body. Soryong stares fascinated, and he even rubs her legs. Worst of all, he asks to touch her fangs, not knowing it's dangerous. She starts to worry about her kids in this young man's hands.